Hello there. The European Union will be backing Spain's so-called territorial claim over Gibraltar and be making any trade deal dependent on London and Madrid coming to some sort of agreement over the future sovereignty of the rock. Firstly, as ever, please kick that YouTube algorithm up the jacksie by giving this video a big fat like. And I do generally upload new videos every single day, so please check back regularly. Now it seems that unless the UK agrees to cede some control over Gibraltar to Spain, then the EU will not allow Gibraltar to be included in any trade deal. They are using the threat of battering the rock economically to force UK concessions. Or more accurately, they're gonna try. According to the Observer, the Spanish government has insisted on reference to the rock in the EU's opening negotiating position, which will be published in draft form on Monday. As far as I'm concerned, this has zero legitimacy on so many levels. Can you imagine the response if the UK decided to put the reclaiming of Calais from French rule on the table? After all, we controlled it from 1347 right through to 1558. Or how about something more recent? Let's claim back the British occupation zone of Germany that we held from 1945 until 1949. Or the British sector of Berlin, maybe. A total nonsense, isn't it? Remember that the UK has control over the rock as a consequence of the 1713 Treaty of Utrecht. It's also especially a nonsense because the citizens of Gibraltar have never indicated any desire whatsoever to be ruled over by Spain. And given the more recent treatment of the Catalans by Spanish authorities, you would have to think that the Gibraltarians would now be even less inclined to go down that particular road. But there's another really good reason why this is a complete nonsense, and that is the fact that the future of Gibraltar is not mentioned as up for grabs by Spain in either the withdrawal agreement or the political declaration, which is essentially the guideline document for the negotiations on the trade deal in question. Now, as part of the UK's withdrawal from the EU, on top of the withdrawal agreement, there are 4 memoranda of understanding between the UK and Spain on citizens' rights, environmental matters, police and customs, and tobacco products. The MOU on citizens' rights covers the rights of frontier workers between Gibraltar and a small part of Spain, so that workers can move freely across the border on a daily basis to work in the region. This MOU will endure. As I understand it, this is not the freedom of movement of workers to live and work, so much as a freedom to commute daily across a border. The MOUs on environment, police and customs, as well as the one on tobacco products, ceased to have effect on the 31st of December 2020, the same time as the Brexit implementation period is due to end. And that's covered in the protocol on Gibraltar within the withdrawal agreement and the MOUs themselves. So as far as I can see, after the implementation period ends, the only persisting commitment is for people to be able to travel freely across the Spain-Gibraltar border on a daily basis for the purpose of commuting to work. No mention, as far as I can see, of shared sovereignty and the like. In fact, the withdrawal agreement says, underlining that this protocol is without prejudice to the respective legal positions of the Kingdom of Spain and the United Kingdom with regard to sovereignty and jurisdiction. So I assume this means that nothing in the withdrawal agreement backs any claim to Gibraltar by either the UK or Spain. And in the political declaration it says in the introduction, the future relationship will be based on a balance of rights and obligations, taking into account the principles of each party. This balance must ensure the autonomy of the Union's decision-making and be consistent with the Union's principles, in particular with respect to the integrity of the single market and the customs union, and the indivisibility of the 4 freedoms. It must also ensure the sovereignty of the United Kingdom and the protection of its internal market, while respecting the result of the 2016 referendum, including with regard to the development of its independent trade policy and the ending of free movement of people between the Union and the United Kingdom. As far as I can see, that last bit basically says the sovereignty of the UK over its interests is not up for discussion, and Gibraltar is definitely one of our interests. Now, I'm no expert, but as far as I can see, the EU, in trying to back Spain's position and put Gibraltar into the mix as a bargaining chip at this stage, is going against both the spirit and the word of the withdrawal agreement and the political declaration. So Spain has agreed to free commuting of workers, but now threatens the jobs of those very same workers by trying to get the EU to negotiate on the basis that without Spanish control over part or all of Gibraltar, then all trade will be halted at the border. And rejoin campaigners still think the EU is a good idea? Just as with our UK fishing grounds, when the UK entered the EU, it had full sovereign control over Gibraltar, and the UK must therefore leave the EU with its full and sovereign control over Gibraltar intact. Anything less would be a Boris Johnson sellout. And here's a bit of what the Chief Minister of Gibraltar, Fabian Picardo, said in his Brexit statement on Friday evening. And as we move forward, if the EU take a line in relation to Gibraltar which is not inclusive of us, the EU will have failed to understand why the UK is leaving. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So what do you think about this Gibraltar situation? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. And thank you very much for watching.